Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Well, the subject today is from Masjid to revolution, or from Masjid to evolution. Basically, it's the idea of the Islamic revival, or Mujaddidism. All of that starts from the Masjid, basically. And it always has. And hadith is clear: when you go by the gardens of paradise, enjoy the fruits there. And they say, well, what are the fruits? What are the gardens of paradise? Instead of the Masjid, so what are the fruits? Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah. And these are all basic du'as. And we have several ways of looking at our condition, but one way is when you look at the condition of the people and their historical reality. If you were part of the normal society, you wouldn't have hardly no hope for them for redemption, no hope for guidance, no hope for nothing. Whatever would come out of it would be some type of misguidance, you know. If they straighten up one thing, they're gonna mess up another. And we know that the global balance, we always pray and make dua for balance, you know, wazan, mizan. That means economic balance, human balance, not so-called equality, because equality, they have a saying that any society, this equal is not free, and any society that is free is not equal. It's just what some they fix up. And they're talking about it from their point of view, but in a way it's right. If you got a society, a communist, communalism society, each according to his work, each according to his need, that sounded good back in the old days, but people don't produce a lot when they work like that, you know. So then they have dictatorships, and they have all kind of concoctions, laissez-faire. If you let one go, well, they're gonna automatically, a few gonna get money, and when they get money, they're gonna affect the society, and in 50 years, 100 years, all the laws, everything be going their way. That's the way those things are. So we have a complicated system that we have to reconstruct in our time. And our only recourse is dua. It's not just a political or social or even a religious. We have no other way, right, of intellectually interacting with the realities that we have today except through dua, right? And that's what they're for. You almost have to ask Allah for hidayah, for guidance, for proper representation, all of that, you gotta ask for it. And then that's not bad, because the hadith also say that there's no bad, be careful. When they sent Ibn Jabal down Yemen, said be careful about taking the good stuff for the people. Said because there's no petition between the dua of the oppressed, right, and Allah. So now getting back to where we are. The other night we was talking a little bit about these psychological mumbo jumbos and dream attack. You know, I mentioned dream attack. But whatever come up, it don't make no difference. You know why? There's one thing, there's one saving force. This is personal now. If I do anything that contradicts the ethics, human ethics or the ethics of Islam, I know I've been affected by that, so I cut that right away. Not when I do it, but when I think about it. You see what I mean? If I even think about, or I'm walking toward going against the akhlaq of the Sunnah, the akhlaq of the Quran, and all of that, well, I know I've been affected by that, so I can stop it right away. So whatever they did, they wasted $1 million again. Because I got a simple rule. Just a simple. I just got it written down right here. If I do anything, if I even think about doing anything, I mean, not think about it, but concentrate on it like, yeah, I'm going to make it move. Right? If I get to that stage, I say, oh, okay, finished. That's violating the principle, right, that we stand on. Now, the other thing is about detachment from the environment. Any of y'all ever pay attention to Deepak Chopra? Yeah, he is really a lightweight. I was watching him the other day. But I watched those middle and upper middle class white people. They was watching him. He was lightweight, God, dog. But they was into it, and they were nodding with approval. And he was running like it was great hikmah. Now he ran about, out of 100 things, he might have said 3 hikmahs. You know what I mean? 3 hikmahs, finished. And I said, oh man, you know, and so it gives us an idea about where we are. And if you remember, we always read from the portion on Yaqeen that talks about those people that are blessed, that it's as though they lived amongst the people of old. And they saw what benefited the people and they saw what destroyed the people. This is not a reincarnation type, but this is a reality coming from our religion. That if we get juiced up correctly, we have an overview of history that is real and concise. And we see it's as though we are reincarnated. Don't forget, I said this is as though, because we don't want nobody, they got reincarnation in Islam. I didn't say that. I said it's as though you was there with those people of old. You was there with them. I mean, in this time, it's like being kind of polished up and what have you, that you are like right there with those people. And you see, you observe what raised them up and what brought them down. That is a blessing unbelievable. But people have they have funny stuff about us. I know a brother named Afif, I won't mention his last name, but something came up about me personally. And he couldn't picture me the way I am, but he said, so you had one of those leopard skin and something, you know, them, they wasn't poor Negroes, but they was just ridiculous. You know, leopard skin and the car, you know, all that dumb stuff. He could not picture a person that is leading a physical, what we call it, East Oakland Enterprise. He couldn't visualize somebody like us leading, controlling, and guiding and developing an economic enterprise zone. black economic enterprise zone. He just couldn't do it. It didn't hit him. He didn't know that it wasn't hitting him right. But the way he was responding was one of them clown niggas, And from what he read in the report from the white man, that's what he got. He got that this was because if he see a picture of something, he gonna relate it back to what he done read. That's why we're out here in a great struggle. And there are some phases of evolution. If you take a period like 1968, to get to 1968, you had to have 65, 66, 67 to get there. Okay, in those days, a few years was a long time. Just like from 15 to 20 is a long time in your growth and development. From 5 to 10 is a big period in your growth and development. But from 60 to 65, it ain't no big deal. But in those early stages, development, and within a certain period of time. So by the time you get to 68, you have acquired, in order to do an economic enterprise zone, you have to be very mature already. You have to evolve past the Negro stage, the good-looking, all of that stuff stage. You will have to pass beyond the greedy me stage, because if you're at a stage of we want to help the society, you gotta have improved, because you can't find 10 people out of 1,000,000 that have evolved to the point to where they said, now I'm going to help the people, the masses, and all of that. You have to have evolved to do that. Even the people that think they've evolved to that, as soon as they get in a position to do that, they steal all the money, they run off, if you want to see somebody go crazy, give them a lot of money or a lot of power. 95, actually 97 out of 100, 98 out of 100, probably they'll go south because they haven't experienced the evolution. They haven't had a chance to grow and develop. By the time 1971 rolls around, we've lived through that period. That's a 3-year period. That's a long period for them. Because remember, if you take the Black Panther Party, it opened up in 66. By 1970, by 71, it's done. I mean, it's still there, but by 71, that's 5 years. They done knocked them boys, they done run them all around, they killing them like flies, you know what I mean? Remember, that period that they talk about back in the 60s was a short period compared to now. We've had 20 years of fitna here, 25, 30. I've been in D.C. 30 years now. Fitna every day I was here. I have had no time without fitna. It just haven't been no time without fitna. Not little old Mickey Mouse fitna, but grown folks fitna. Here for 30 years. And that time, people didn't last. Okay. So 71, by the time, you got to understand what's happening. The Black Economic Enterprise Zone incorporates all of the knowledge of America, basically. How America move on you, what they do. And you got that, the culmination in 71 means goodbye, America. You got the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, you got the judges, the lawyers, prosecution, everybody's on your side and you still cheating, forget y'all. This is what you come up with. You got everything going your way and you still cheating. Hey man, bump y'all. That turned out to be a good decision. So what about colonialism? What about the internationalism? You know, like, what I'm getting to is when Allah got you hooked up for something, He sent you through all the processes to acquire, naturally, those things that you need to begin on your journey, and He'll help you along the way, constantly, helping, aiding, and assisting, and guiding. So what does somebody from Oakland know about colonialism and all of that, except what he read in the paper? You know? And the only thing I'd seen, of course, the Black Panther newspaper had colonialism and all of that it was good. And we understood colonialism, but to go to Africa and live in Africa, then you can taste, now you know the psychological damage of colonialism, for real. You might have picked up, I remember, that was a movie made in 1957 with Sidney Poitier and Rock Hudson. It was a movie about people fighting for freedom. And Sidney Poitier had that self-image about the white man, that that he just couldn't defeat the white man. And at the end, the white man, Rock Hudson, is